West Ridge Middle School's lunchroom wasn't loud with fights or flying food. It was quieter, more cutting. It was a battlefield where belonging was determined in silence. 13-year-old Eva Sinclair sat alone, picking at the edges of her peanut butter sandwich, pretending not to hear the whispers. "Why does she always sit alone?" someone muttered. "Maybe she doesn't have any friends," another voice snickered. She had heard it all before. Being one of the few black students at West Ridge meant she couldn't blend in. Instead, she moved through the halls like a shadow, avoiding attention. But Connor Tate had other plans. Connor wasn't just another kid, he was the kid. Son of a wealthy businessman, popular, untouchable. Teachers smiled when they said his name, parents welcomed him into their homes. And he could talk his way out of anything. And for the past month, Eva had been his target. It started small, knocking her books to the ground, bumping into her accidentally. Things no one would call bullying, but it never stopped. One afternoon, as Eva unwrapped her sandwich, Connor snatched it. "Peanut butter? Guess your dad's new job doesn't pay enough for real food." Laughter followed. He tossed the sandwich over his shoulder, letting it hit the floor. When Eva bent to pick it up, his foot came down, crushing it into the tile. "Oops." Eva swallowed her anger and walked away. She had learned that fighting back only made things worse. The next day it escalated. First, Connor shoved her against her locker. Then, at lunch, he spread a lie. "Did you hear? Eva tried to fight me. Total psycho." The whispers spread like wildfire. By the end of the day, no one wanted to sit with her. She was more alone than ever. By Friday, she thought maybe Connor had moved on. She was wrong. As she walked to the school's exit, Connor called out, "Hey, Sinclair, where you going? Thought we were friends." She ignored him, but he grabbed her wrist. "Don't touch me," she snapped. Connor smirked. "Or what, gonna tell on me?" Something inside her snapped. Before she knew it, she shoved him, hard. For the first time, Connor looked startled. The laughter stopped. By Monday, Connor had taken revenge. The whispers were back, but this time they weren't just words. As Eva walked the halls, students turned their phones toward her. A photo of her shoving Connor had been edited with bold red text. "Psycho Sinclair can't control herself." The comments were worse. "Wow, she looks crazy. No wonder she has no friends." Connor should have hit her back. Eva's stomach twisted. When she slid into her English class seat, Lena Carmichael, one of Connor's friends, leaned in. "Nice photos, Sinclair." Eva barely made it through the day. When she got home, her father was waiting, phone in hand. "Want to explain this?" She swallowed. "I didn't do anything." "I know." Her father's voice was steady, but his eyes were dark. Then he started dialing. Within an hour, they were at West Ridge Middle School. Principal Dawson stood in the office, arms crossed. "Chief Sinclair, let's not blow this out of proportion. Connor Tate has been harassing my daughter for months. Now he's spreading lies online." Her father cut in. He held up his phone. "This is what I want removed." The principal hesitated. "We don't want to punish a student for..." "For what? Cyber harassment?" her father asked, voice low. "Or for being the son of a wealthy businessman?" Silence. Then the office door opened. Connor walked in, followed by his parents. His father, Richard Tate, smiled coolly. "Chief Sinclair, this seems unnecessary." "Your son made it necessary," Eva's father replied. Connor's mother scoffed. "They're just kids, roughhousing, that's all." Eva's father leaned forward. "If my daughter had done to your son what he did to her, would we be having this conversation? Or would your lawyers be here instead?" Richard Tate's jaw clenched. The principal cleared his throat. "Connor will be suspended immediately." Connor's mother gasped. "Suspended? For a joke?" Richard's voice dropped. "Do you know who I am?" Eva's father didn't blink. "Do you know who I am?" The room was ice cold. Connor wasn't smirking anymore. For the first time, he looked scared. By the next morning, the entire school knew about Connor's suspension. Some students whispered about it, others outright stared at Eva as she walked through the halls. "Did you hear? Her dad got Connor suspended." "Yeah, but Connor will be back. She just made it worse for herself." Eva ignored them, keeping her head high, but inside, she wasn't sure if they were wrong. Connor had power. His parents had influence. What if he came back angrier? What if this wasn't over? At lunch, she hesitated before sitting down. Then, to her surprise, someone slid into the seat across from her. "Hey," the girl said. Eva blinked. Hi? "I'm Jayla. I saw what happened. Just wanted to say, I think you did the right thing." Eva hesitated, then gave a small smile. Maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as alone as she thought. A week passed. Then, on Monday morning, Connor was back. Eva felt it the moment she stepped into the hallway. The shift in the air, the way people suddenly moved aside. Connor was standing near the lockers, arms crossed, staring at her. His friends flanked him, whispering. She braced herself as he approached. "You really thought you could get rid of me?" he said, voice low. "I didn't think anything," she replied, refusing to back down. "You got me suspended. That's not something I forget." She met his gaze. "Maybe you should have thought of that before you messed with me." Connor smirked, but there was something different this time. He wasn't laughing. Maybe for the first time he saw her as someone who wouldn't just take it. She walked past him, heart pounding. He didn't stop her. For now. That afternoon, Jayla caught up with Eva by the bus stop. "Be careful," she said. Eva frowned. "What do you mean?" "I heard Connor talking to his friends. He's planning something. I don't know what, but it's not over." Eva's stomach clenched. She had known Connor wouldn't let this go, but hearing it confirmed sent a chill through her. That night she told her dad, "You did the right thing standing up for yourself, but you need to be careful," he said. "Bullies like Connor don't like losing." She nodded, but it didn't make her feel safer. The next day, Eva was walking home when she noticed something strange. Usually, there were other students taking the same route, but today the street was empty. Then she heard footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw Connor and two of his friends. "Where are you going, Sinclair?" Connor called. Eva's heart pounded, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Home, not so fast. You embarrass me. Now I think it's time we fix that." His friends closed in, blocking the sidewalk. Before she could think, a voice rang out, "Back off, Connor!" Jayla, and behind her 2 other kids Eva had never even spoken to. Connor hesitated. He was used to people following him, laughing at his jokes, watching from a distance, but now people were standing against him. Eva took a deep breath. "If you touch me, my dad will know, and trust me. You don't want that." Connor's smirk twitched. He knew she was right. "Whatever," he muttered, turning away. "This isn't over." But Eva knew the truth. It already was. A week later, things were different. Connor still had his friends, but his power over people had cracked. He walked through the halls, but the whispers were about him now. Eva still got looks, but they weren't the same. Some were curious, some were even respectful. She sat at lunch with Jayla, now. Sometimes others joined them. It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was a new beginning, and for the first time in a long time, Eva didn't feel alone.